Good morning. Today is Tuesday, May the 9th, and our lesson this morning is Deadly Peril in the World. Deadly Peril in the World. And our lesson is coming from Job, the 4th chapter, the first verse through the 11th. And the scripture lesson text read, Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If we attempt to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was fallen, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest, it touches thee, and thou art troubled. Is not this thou fear, thou confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish be an innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. But the blast of God, they by the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils they are consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion, and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the stout lion's whelps are scattered abroad. Amen. This is a lesson that many have had problems, and it's a lot to learn just reading Job. Uh, his friend, uh, we have to watch out, even as friends, what we are saying or what we are attempting to bring out. Uh, as a friend, you would have hoped that he would have been encouraging, uh, knowing that God is not only a God that is punitive or punishes those that do wrong, but is a God of instruction. And this could have been a lesson in instruction, but yet and still, he only was determined to, in many ways, seem to pull him down instead of show himself as a friend. We want to be mindful of how we speak. A passage in the Believer's Bible Commentary says a ride out uh, is a person name summarizes the gist of their message as follows. In the controversy of the three friends, we have a unity of thought based on a common principle. That principle is that all suffering is of a punitive rather than of an instructive nature, that it is based on God's justice rather than on his love. And God is more about love than about he is justice, but he do have want love above all things. And it says, though these are ever combined in all his ways, such a principle necessarily fails to distinguish between the suffering of the righteous and those of the wicked. You never know what situation that is going on. So for them to sit there and assume that Job was receiving this as punishment for what he has done is not accurate portrayal of a friend. Another thing that I see here that when someone is going through, when that person is going through, we are to lift them up to the Lord, not to pull them down, not to try to show them where they have went wrong and what they have done wrong, but to show them you know, that God is a God of love and a God of care. And even though God did bring Job to Satan's attention that he was a man of God, that he was a strong man in good standing with the Lord, Satan is still the one that did the destruction. Satan is still the one that killed his children. Satan is still the one that destroyed and took all he had. Satan is still the one that caused him to become sick with sores on him. So Satan is still the one that kills, steals, and destroys. It was still on Satan, of the one that did it. And the reason was not because he had did something wrong. It was to show that Satan, show Satan that he was able to withstand what the Lord had, what Satan was putting upon him. And we ought to know that God can and will bring us through. I'm going to read you a short passage from the Matthew Henry Concise Commentary. It says, Satan undertook to prove Job a hypocrite by afflicting him, and his friends concluded him to be one because he so afflicted and showed impotence. This we must keep in mind if we would understand what passed. If Eliphaz speaks of Job and his afflicted condition with tenderness, but charges him with weakness and faint-heartedness. Men make few allowances for those who have taught others. Even though they have taught others, they still have a hard soul and mind. And when they are going through, they have the same troubles, they have the same feelings as others do. Even pious friends will count that only a touch which we feel as a wound, learn from hence to draw off the mind of a sufferer from brooding over the affliction, to look at the God of mercies in the affliction. That is where they should have been trying to look to God instead of that is full of mercy, instead of charging him with doing wrong and charging him of what he didn't do and what he should have did in a situation where they should have been consoling to him. And how can this be done so well as by looking to Christ Jesus, in whose unequal sorrows every child of God soonest learn to forget his own. If we look at Jesus Christ and his crucifixion, what he went through for not doing anything wrong, that even in Job's case and many other people, that many times things will come upon us even when we didn't do anything to deserve it. It said that good men were never thus ruined, but there is one event both to the righteous and to the wicked. Ecclesiastes 9:2, both in life and death. It said in Ecclesiastes 9:2, it says, uh, that both in life and death, the great and certain differences. I'm having a little trouble with the. I wanted to read Ecclesiastes 9:2, but I wasn't able to. It said, our worst mistake are occasioned by drawing wrong views from undeniable truth, that wicked men were often thus ruined. For the proof of this, Eliphaz vouches his own observation. This is his own feelings that wicked men is the only ones that get that have things happen and go wrong in their life, but that is not true. Those are the word says it rains on the just as well as the unjust. It said we may see the same every day. I pray that you meditate on this lesson and y'all have a blessed day.